So, there is going to be two situations, one brony and one not. I'll introduce you to the players on both fields. This is Scotch. They're accusing Jitterbug Jive, an artist known for such blogs as Discorded Hooves and Lovestruck Derpy, as well as others. I will be attempting to tackle all this in turn. Yep, at least most of it. This is Tommy C. He has 38,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has a news/drama channel. This is Planet Dolan, aka Danger Dolan on Twitter. He has 5 million subscribers on YouTube. A rather sizable voice, to say the least. See this second video here? It's covering a story on a noted YouTuber by the name of Slazo, who has 7 million subscribers, who, when his girlfriend accused him of abuse and of all things rape a bunch of YouTubers, like Danger Dolan, immediately went, "Oh, she's so brave," and pinned their comments to their Twitter on mere hearsay. And even after some of the facts of the story started to fall apart, it became more, well, we'll say when you're innocent, to trying to keep it quiet, to letting things politely blow over, and Tommy C wasn't going to go for that. Now, disclosure time, Tommy C can be a bit of a meme. He kinda drops the ball on occasion. Some might say from time to time, some might say more often than not. Some might say if you were publicly embarrassed by a man like this, it would be career-ending. But let's take a look. I'll have a link to this full video down below in the description.
They also, you know, the thing is, all these guys knew, and they had time to investigate. But apparently they just waited her to put it out, and we're going to believe her on face value. No prayer to James Charles stuff. Well, it turns out this is definitely some James Charles stuff, Dolan Dark. They are making assumptions that going to the police is some easy task that wasn't already considered. Fuck you. Motherfucker. How is that so hard? Motherfucker, dude. You're older than these guys and you're college educated. What the fuck is wrong with you?
But Dolan Dark?
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's really hard. Well, it's not hard to spread it all over the fucking internet, is it? You can't take the next step? Oh, I bet, Dolan, it's a lot easier to pin your top posting. Thank you for all the support, but it's so hard to go to the cops. You're obligated to go to the cops. You're obligated. What are you, a child? We're talking about somebody's livelihood, somebody's reputation. Are you out of your mind? You're a grown-up. These kids are children. You could be standing up right now and fixing all of this. It's not hard. I tell you something. When you accuse somebody of rape, you got to go hard. Or go home.
All memes aside, all slip-ups, fumbles, we'll include 2 examples of Tommy's flip-ups, and believe me, there's more at the end of the video. I don't want to hijack this video any more than I have to, but that line.
Grown up! These kids are children! You could be standing up right now and fixing all of this!
I don't feel I have to explain the disparity of a 30,000 subscriber channel to 7 million. You're an adult. You're obligated. I'm gonna snap back to Scotch now and Jitterbug Jive. Let me reread that line again. I made a promise. I will never let this happen again. Here is the last line from June 30th. All the same time after seeing they would let this happen. Here is the line from June 30th, 2:11 p.m., where they promised that they would never let this happen again. They promised. This is from 11/6, June 30th, from their Twitter on topic. Apparently, doing everything that you can lasts just north of 3 hours worth of effort. Here is a screenshot where Scotch says that they are almost 20. You're an adult now. You started this ball rolling. You're not going to walk out here and claim you're going to do everything in your power in about 3 hours and then fuck off and come back later. That's not how shit works. So for everyone who wants to see Brony Inspector and myself have a sit-down discussion with Jitterbug Jive, we have to read off Jitterbug's responses because their audio wasn't set up. It's up on BitChute unedited. There'll be a link down below. I did tell Scotch, my apologies, here is Jitterbug's response. If you block me here, that'll be fine. I'm not looking to silence you. Have a nice day. You're free to respond. But the problem is, Jitterbug has gone to obscene lengths to put up with mine and Brony Inspector's bullshit. This line of questioning got ties cut when I tried to reach out to Scotch. This from a person who would do anything to stop Jitterbug Jive's reign of quote-unquote terror. Let's take a look at that reign of terror, because in all due respect, Jitterbug Jive is far less than squeaky clean. Jitterbug Jive has denied ever ERPing with a minor. There is no 1v1 evidence this has ever happened. There's an accusation that some of this art is referenced to an ERP, but there is no proof of said ERP itself, that the child ever possessed said character that I've seen. I'm naturally prepared to fix this in future videos if such evidence becomes available or exists. Their accusations that Jitterbug Jive's boyfriend at the time, now ex-boyfriend, grabbed Scotch's ass. We have verified this despite some back and forth. Dear Jester, this video should really be about you. You should come forward and answer for what you have done. Your weak excuses and sending others to answer in your stead sickens me. If you're at work and your health is, shall we say, unpermitting you to come forward, I'll wait. I'll wait until you're well. Even if I magically am unavailable when you are, I'm sure some of my friends, with time, will make the time to hear your statements. This will not quietly be swept under the rug. So I said that I would be getting back to talking about Jester, or should be making this video about Jester, but I am. Oh, I am. While I meant nothing behind it, while doing similar actions, greeting friends into a townhouse, he was saying at For the Con, I regret doing it, and not knowing the implications at the time. I am very sorry. Buttons, how would you not know slapping a child on the ass is wrong? Enlighten me. When you've been friends with them for years, and they treat you like family, maybe your family, maybe your idea of family is instantly or infinitesimally different than mine, but no, it is not appropriate. Also, I'm bad at social cues from being on the autism spectrum. I have many friends who are autistic. I don't know any of them that have slapped me on the ass. My memory sometimes fails me, so I suppose maybe that's just blocked out. Maybe my old senility has popped in there. So yeah, if that's something that regularly happens in the fandom, my friends can speak up down below, autism or not, so I can come off too forwarded or casual. No. Buttons, I have autism and have known others with autism. I know you don't slap someone underage on the ass. How is it that hard to understand? It isn't. I didn't know I was being too casual at the time about someone. I thought I was being family. I saw no meaning behind doing it. It was when she was passing in the door, and I was trying to find a random way to greet everyone in the Con townhouse. Doesn't this sound like something a politician would say after getting caught? Again, if I'm being unfair, please let my comment section redirect me and correct me down below, as sometimes I can be obtuse, boorish, and overbearing. Buttons' response: she was 15, how does any of that matter? She was underage. A child does not touch. What the actual fuck is wrong with you? I think they mean don't touch the child. Close enough. You know what? I screw up on Twitter too. Our boy Jester. This was one instance, and I learned from it. I regret not being more aware at the time of the implication, and I'm sorry for it. Implications my ass, you knew her age. Now, here's my problem with this. Between talking to Jitterbug Jive, who said that sometimes you miss social cues, this is something that sounds, they implied that it made it sound like you've done it reoccurring. You've implied as much. This is so desperately why we need you to come forward, our dear Jester, and have a word with you as soon as possible. Now you could say, FNGR, do you really need to kick up all this fuss if these accusations of the ERP are false? That being an erotic roleplay with a minor, but I'd like to remind people, in the Brony fandom we have thrown out people like Toon Critic, Performance Major, and Dusky Novel, just to name a few. Believe it or not, some of them will come up later. I do not agree with everything that comes out of Jitterbug Jives' mouth. There's one thing, no matter how creepy if a brony, furry, or weeaboo is, if you're into foal, cub, or lolly, whether you feel it is or isn't child pornography, I've said from a pragmatic standpoint, if I covered such offenses, I'd never have enough time to cover more serious issues. This remark here about not banning not real CP, if you're conceding the fact that such fictional material constitutes child pornography, then yes, it should be banned. That's my perspective. I feel that that's fair. I've said this in my statement to Raging Golden Eagle many years ago, and I stand behind that statement. Additionally, I wouldn't lose any sleep if such content was banned on all platforms, which is now on the books for Discord. But due to certain platforms being owned by and moderated by furries, we're looking at you, Discord, oddly enough, it isn't enforced. We're now in June. There is no word on Discord's report of public transparency, which was reported that would be out months ago, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. If a company like this is going to institute a law like that, they should enforce it. I do not approve of this artist's decisions. I've told Jitterbug Jive as much in person. Well, on Discord 1v1. Some of my friends have expressed that they would handle this situation differently if they had the ball, and they're free to make their own videos. Jitterbug Jive intends to make a character, a younger one, who seeks out older characters to have relationships with, no matter how thirsty a child is. It is the adult's responsibility to say no, legally if not medically. Disclosure, I am not a doctor nor a lawyer. This is sound common logic, if not common sense. Maybe that's redundancy. I will state this. If I was a parent and I found out my kid was being pursued by a predator online, one that they were talking with, for whatever reason, that kid would be grounded until I could figure out a way to fix the situation so that they were no longer around that person. Yes, that is hypocritical, but being a parent isn't about being your kid's friend or being fair. It's giving your child the best tools to grow up in a healthy environment as much as possible. As for sweeping things under the rug, the only thing that Jitterbug Jive was not willing to be upfront about is when I asked about Jester's social media, they did not feel comfortable giving me said information. Thankfully, Buttons managed to figure out who Jester was on Twitter. For anyone who thinks that Buttons is completely fucking useless, you must be getting pretty good at ignoring evidence to the contrary. So in turn, Jitterbug has apologized for employing a minor to work on their Tumblr blog in the past, around 2015. They've assured me it's not something that they're doing now, and if I find out otherwise, we'll be back here ASAP. The content wasn't something many adults would approve of their kids working on. I and some of my peers will continue to keep an eye on you, Jitters. I feel some of the adult themes that you have around child characters are inappropriate, but if you're not going to jail, all this old man can do is shake his hand at the sky. Jitters, I've seen through your chat logs of your room. I've had over 100 different pictures sent to me, whether I wanted them or not. I feel by and large your mind is in the right place. There certainly is enough material. I certainly feel that if you went through and only focused on the negatives, you could absolutely bury Jitterbug Jive in a video. But naturally, I'm going to include some of the more positive examples. The negatives are naturally floating around. You can go to Kiwi Farms. You can go to the Twitter posts from the stream that I included before. I'll definitely have some tags and end cards to go to what I can. In fact, here is some logs around 2018 February, where this one deleted account said the following. Page 1. Sorry for changing the subject, but I know how many of you have heard of Toon Critic Y2K. He's a brony YouTuber, and he's proven an admitted pedophilia, who was supposed to be arrested, but apparently he's trying to start all over with a brand new OC. So look over for him lurking. The name is up to date. As of a week ago, he's known to repeat his abuse with his new victims if given half a chance, and I don't want people getting tangled up in that. I'm not a victim of his, but I was a victim of pedo child grooming bullshit, and it can affect people for years, even if entirely online. Can you guess who this is? Page 2. I'll be reading off a few excerpts from this. I thought he had gotten arrested. Did he escape or avoid arrest? Underpaid slacker. His old pals, who have cut ties with him, gave him a chance to turn himself in, and when he refuses, they eventually filed an FBI report, and I think contacted the PD local to Toon. Deleted user.
Can we please not?
Kitty lover. Understood. Conversations over Beyond is necessary for spreading awareness. Underpaid slacker. Yeah, just wanted to inform. Uncomfy stuff is uncomfy, but protecting minors is more important. Deleted user.
I can't fucking escape it.
Take your bets on who you feel the deleted user is. Page 3. Kitty lover. Sorry, deleted user.
Sorry, I'm just fucking sick of hearing about it. Just because he has a new OC does not mean he's going to use it to manipulate again.
Kitty lover. His actions, his false promises of changing, have spoken for themselves. He has never learned before. We have no reason to believe he will now.
I'm not getting into it. Good night.
Page 4. To the victims of Toon Critic, my final thoughts.
Of fucking course.
Jitterbug Jive. New OC, new identity. Not just new OC, sorry, but that's kinda suspicious behavior. Zanao. It was my thoughts at the time where the situation was made aware. Jitterbug Jive. Not smart on his part. If he's trying to show any attempt at being better, whether he's gonna do stuff again or not, I doubt with eyes on him, he will though. Page 5. It'd be more stupid. Deleted user.
I think I should leave.
Jitterbug Jive. If you're not willing to make your points, and you're just gonna get mad, then yeah, you probably should. This sounds very reasonable, by the way. I'm sure people here can be reasonable and willing to listen, though. I had a friend put in jail for 30 years from false accusations, so I'm definitely open to listening to the other side. As am I. Deleted user.
The last time I tried to make my points, I was accused of being a pedophile myself. Sorry, no.
We're. Page 7. Because anyone pulling that shit here would be banned. Kitty Lover. For my part, for the record, the date is 2/21/2018. I do believe this will be important. For my part, I promise to hear you out fully, and not to jump to conclusions. So no, deleted user. I can understand the point of benefit of the doubt, wishing the good in people. However, I am of the firm belief pedophilia is wrong. Jitterbug Jive. I'm of the opinion that pedophiles are people who need help more than anything else, especially if they have not physically harmed a child. Not the worst opinion I've heard. Deleted user.
No, not here. On my channel. I had to take down my video. Hint, hint. I lost 2 acting roles in audio dramas I was in. I lost a couple of friends. Toon is just a sore spot for me.
Kinda might get the old almonds roasting. Might get the old coffee percolating, if you know what I mean on who this is. Page 8.
Oh, and was threatened to have the police called on me.
Zanao. Well, I'm sure we are rational people here, and the point of discussion is to share viewpoints. Jitterbug Jive. I've only heard one side. I'd rather hear others, because I doubt anyone would believe my friends didn't do anything because the moment the accusations is that because I doubt anyone would believe my friends didn't do anything because the moment the accusations is that there's no one cares about the facts. I'm probably reading that wrong. I straight up apologize. Jitterbug Jive. Meanwhile, I make new OCs and accounts, and often, if ever feeling pressured from any sort of negativity and attention, I do believe this is Jitterbug Jive clowning on Toon Critic. They're free to come forward in my comment section, Mikasa Sukasa. Deleted user.
Fine, Toon is a criminal, but just because he's a criminal does not mean people just cut ties and abandon him completely.
Wow, that is really sounding mighty familiar.
That's the last thing he needs. He pretty much lost everything at this point, no matter how bad a person is. I wouldn't wish death on anyone, which brings me to my next point again. What he did was wrong, but he shouldn't have his life threatened, his mother being called, banned from cons, losing everything because he groped some adults, and because he ERP'd with minors.
Jitterbug Jive. All I want is for him to face consequences and get help. Again, fairly reasonable. Deleted user.
Me too.
Here, let me put that up on screen. Here, guys, let me give you a hint.
I roleplay with just about anyone who's willing, and sometimes, if the minor is mature enough, I'll roleplay with them too.
Yui-chan from Limbo's chat guessed right off the bat after the first 2 pages. Personally, I thought it was Isaac Collar, Buttons was betting on Toon Critic. But this was our major performance himself, or performance major. Alright, drumroll. Kitty Love. That said performance. I suppose I understand where you're coming from. I may not really agree with it. Not entirely. But I understand it. I want you to know you're being heard. We would go on to be quite heard later on. I'll leave a link down below to the original video for those of you who aren't familiar with Performance Major. But from what I've been told, the performance had been plucked from the vine. When I had originally brought this to the attention, when I didn't find that it was performance, I tried reminding Jitterbug Jive who this was. They couldn't remember. When I said performance, they said that's about right. You can choose to read it sinister and intent and them not remembering, but it was well over a year ago. 2nd, 3rd, or 4th month of 2018. You know what? We'll probably include a link down below, or you could just look it up on the channel yourself. It almost seems like he was trying to get caught. This was naturally before he was outed. But yeah, I better not hear about Jitterbug hiring kids to do any kind of sexual content, or ERPing, or covering up for anyone else doing anything with kids. To Scotch, I'm gonna put up the rest of this Tommy C clip.
He said in the chat, I wasn't making assumptions. That was the exact reason she didn't go to the police. I wasn't assuming anything, bro. But go.
She made a rape allegation. You supported it. She made a rape allegation. You supported it. Are you going to tell me you believe some of it, but not part? She made a rape allegation. You supported it. It doesn't matter if going to the police is the hard thing to do. Going to the police, first of all, gives you a pretty good idea how serious the allegation. Second of all, if it's actually going on, people got to know, because people got to be punished, because people like that got to be taken off the street. But you took people's word for it and didn't do the right thing. Has your political ideology become your worldview? And by the way, that's not a fucking slight, because when I was your age, Dolan, I blew that right-wing horse shit in my fucking head, and it clouded my actual worldview, because I had a political worldview. So is all this left-wing horse shit you got a unit cloud in your judgment? Do you really believe this V2 shit? It's a witch hunt.
Without consent.
What's that? Huh?
He says in the chat again. I mean, there's proof in the DMs that he touched her without consent.
No, there isn't.
Yeah,
she's not credible.
And I chose to.
She's not credible. She's not credible. He admitted to being a woman. Once you got one lie, the whole fucking other thing falls apart, Dolan. You want to come up here? I'd be happy to take care of you. There's lies in that chat. So we can't take anything she fucking took seriously after that. Say, all he admitted to was being a rotten boyfriend. Because being an abuser is subjective. I would like to talk to your ex. I would love to talk to your ex, Dolan. I bet I could make you look like an abuser. You're the grown-up. You're the grown-up.
I put the link in it.
You can't take anything she said seriously. She sit there, well, he abused me, He did this, he did that, the other thing. This is the proof. No, that's her typing it.
That's a lot of money, I guess.
That's her typing it. And then we have other tweets when she's like, boy, I got a nice big hold of your dick. And then acting like this meek person that's been abused. That's horse shit. Everybody in this list supported the rape allegation by saying she was brave. That's it. Because that's the allegation she was making.
You're a fucking adult. Next time you're gonna do this, see it through. Go hard or go home. As for Tommy C, call it a new look for Tommy C or a moment of brilliance. Either or, I'm still grateful for the inspiration. See you next time.
This is FNGR, joined by Migs as well as Mr. Meatman, for anyone who's seen Down the Rabbit Hole as the name of the video, correct?
Yes, Down the Rabbit Hole with Mumkey Jones. But there is something I do want to talk about.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for everyone, I know you all are questioning, like, why am I on this stream? You want to know why I'm on this stream?
Oh.
I'm on this stream because a YouTuber named Tommy C.
Oh!
Tommy C called me a virgin on one of his live streams, and I would just like to make it clear that this is untrue. I am not a virgin because Tommy C molested me.
Oh, okay.
Molested me. Tommy C. I do not have any proof to back. I have no evidence to back this up. You know, like a typical Tommy C stream, and I don't know how to research facts either. But I am the victim, and I have been the victim for far too long, all because of my controversial opinions.
Okay.
An opinion that's so bad, an opinion that's so forsaken, which is pedophilia is bad. Do you guys think pedophilia is bad, or are you guys Mumkey Jones fans?
I think it's objectively bad.
Yeah, same.
Information was passed along to him, and he never had any malicious intent in handling that information or passing it on.
Okay, so here's the thing. Just to clarify, I didn't do the research of the docs. It was given to me by some other people I don't really know about Wild Goose, right? So the reason why I gave it to Shitrat is Shitrat was having an argument with Wild Goose, and here's the thing. A few months before that, when I was working with Milo, Wild Goose sends me this weird fucking DM, says that he's got 3 Bitcoin and that I should basically make peace with my family. That sounded like...
Yet within just a week after appearing on another live stream, his story had radically changed. Now Wild Goose was deserving of what happened to him. Ian was proud of having taken part in it. And in fact, as he put it, Wild Goose deserved it for going after video game journalists.
He docks all the game journalists in Gamergate. Like, at that time, he docks all of them.
Remarkably, even though this information is now widely available online for people to take a look at, there are still some that are too goddamn stupid to see what's going on, like Tommy C., perhaps one of the most retarded people On the internet, the events of the past week have helped to clearly paint a picture of just who Ian Miles Chong is.
Sorry, I sound like shit. I was up all night.
I found that clip by accident because I listened to about 5 to 10 minutes of Tommy before I get bored, and I was like, you know what, this one feels important enough. I'm just going to hit mute, I'm going to minimize the scream, and go back to dicking about. And I get back later, we're like about, I don't know, 30 minutes or however long in, and I just hit play, and I'm like, you were on a roll. This just got juicy. Whoa, this... I could chop this and make it relevant to my situation, and this is topical too. Oh yeah, no, I know how to beat the algorithm on this one. Oh, I totally do.
How you feeling today?
I've got a lot of Vicar. I've got a lot of fucking. I'm ready to go.
And that's what made it click for me, that these are children and I was a child. None of my students could even remotely convince me to do anything with them, and if they did, I'd contact authorities and see about getting them help. And that's what made me realize that what happened wasn't normal, and that there's no way it couldn't have been my fault, because I was just as immature and young and unknowing as the children I teach, and it made me angry. I've spoken about it with a close friend, and they revealed to me that Jack was writing a character about me, and based on me and how I was as a kid. And that was what made me snap, because I knew other kids that went through the same thing that I did, and that they'd be reading that comic and seeing themselves the same way that he made me look at Blank Slate and hate myself.
Crap. You know what, I can add the images later in Vegas. That's going to be easy peasy to do.
Yeah.
Page 1. I'll just edit that part out later on. Ask about me depicting a very real situation that I've seen multiple times growing up. I'm not victim blaming, that's not what it is. I'm talking about what some kids actually do, which is put themselves in dangerous situations because they went to get into inappropriate relationships with adults. And some adults are irresponsible and dumb enough to participate. Not all kids are approached by adults first. Some actively flirt with adults, and some adults are dumb and think, oh, this kid is mature, so it's okay. And it's not. Both parties are people with very real issues. If a child is actively seeking this kind of relationship, I want to address how to help them stop doing it. One of my best friends growing up would sneak out the window to prostitute herself out to adult men. I'm going to take liberty and say they mean men there. And I was too young and scared to know exactly what it was she was doing for a long time. And when I did figure it out, I didn't know what to do to stop her, but I would... whatever that says, alone. Let me get to page 2. I would cry alone. Perfect. Every time she left me to sneak out and get in some guy's truck or something, these guys weren't coming after her. She kept approaching them herself and engaging them. She seemed to know that she seemed to know the types that would take her offer, and they, of course, were sick fucks. Do I call her a bad person for doing this? No. She was very lost and very irresponsible, and it was very terrifying. Saying I want to figure out how to stop dangerous behavior that many kids engage in does not mean the kids are at fault. It just means that part of the issue stems from their own actions, and they need help, not just be ignored and allowed to continue their behavior because they are kids. People don't want to think that a kid could be seeking out this kind of attention on their own, but they do. And it's eerily common. It has baffled me since I was a kid, and that's why I want to address it, because no one dares to talk. We'll be responding after we're done and going back over these. Page 3. Could be seeking out this kind of thing, this kind of attention on their own, but they do. I'll fix that in editing. It's eerily common. It's baffled me since I was a kid, and that's why I want to address it, because no one dares to talk about it. These kids need help. The adults getting involved need help too, and punishment, if they let it go far enough. Maybe just assuming that practically everything is being wildly taken out of context because they aren't posting the entire posts or the discussions that allowed the posts that followed the posts. They're only posting sections without any kind of context to what I'm trying to actually say. Now hold up. Let's go back to page 2. They're referring to a child prostituting themselves. Okay. Do I feel that a child can be arrested and deserves juvie and or prison time for selling themselves? If that's within the law, if they were coerced by a parent or an adult to do so, obviously there are mitigating circumstances. But, I don't know, a 16 to 15... I guess, again, following the law, which I don't have in front of me, I'm not a law expert. Believe it or not, no matter how many videos I do, I don't know when you would start to have legal responsibility for yourself on doing that sort of thing. But, yeah, that would have to be a case-by-case age basis. Would you not agree, Buttons?
Yeah.
But that's not the same thing as either a kid minding their own business or even a child hitting on an adult. Flirting is a far cry from being a prostitute or a whore.
Kids flirt all the time. It's the adult's responsibility to say no.
Yep. And yeah, here's the whole problem. Like, if your kid hits on an adult, again, you know what? Cool. We'll simply say perhaps that should be nipped in the bud a little bit more. But the prostitution cross comparison there is obtuse. Yes, I feel that it's a pretty big far cry. It's a pretty big difference.
It's very. I've not seen mention of that. I mean, there's obviously kids who have sex with other kids.
If I were Tumblr-y, I might even call that cross comparison. What do you kids call it? Problematic. I might call it that. I'm not Tumblr-y, so I'm not.
I would feel that it's. I understand that perhaps this person had an experience and they think that their mentality is based upon that experience. Yep, that can happen, but just use that as a generalization for every situation it feels like they're doing, or to base it their perspective on the absolute worst case scenario. This is what would probably happen. No. I
want to go back to Twitter because, quite frankly, I think we're kind of on a roll. Okay, that's inappropriate. Anyways, back to notifications. What is it OBSing? Oh, it's OBSing Skype. Cool. I don't have to edit that out. Wonderful. Oh, Leo's back! Wonderful. Is that a new account? That is a new account. And they're followed. And we're going to retweet that out.
Oh, Leo's back.
Woot, he's back.
Yay, Leo. Don't get kicked off again.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I'll probably edit that out. Notifications. Let me go back to the Kiwi Farms thread. Did you see that?
I just woke up as it
was
on my screen.
I'm like, hey, did you see the Kiwi Farms thread from Animal Control? He's in Animal Control. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh baby. So I'm gonna skim through. I'm gonna skim through a lot of these things because I don't feel that they're exactly. Did you know that they were transgender?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Again, not terribly relevant.
There was they did mention on their YouTube recently that they used to voice Derpy, but they had a male voice. But because of going through hormone therapy, their voice is changing, so they won't be doing her voice anymore because of it.
Okay. I even remember one of these links here that says, let's not forget that Jitters is a huge cunt to his enthusiastic fans who want to enjoy his content. That was the Derpy recording, and from what I saw, they basically said, it takes time for me to make stuff. Now, maybe that one specific video that's linked in the Kiwi Farms thread on the first page, I didn't see anything other than, it takes time, I'm a content creator. Maybe there's other situations on Tumblr.
No, I know what they're talking about.
Okay,
again, I've followed their content for a long time. They would often post about, hey, like they would go a couple months without posting anything, and it would be like, hey, where are you? And people understand they're a content creator, but it would kind of be a dry drought.
Yeah, I get it too, but I'm just saying, for the purposes of the thread, I feel like they didn't properly give the example. Not saying that it isn't there, I just didn't find it. They mentioned animal abuse. Where the hell is that? Which paragraph is that on? Hideous sparkle furs. Some other time. Some other time. I've definitely had people laugh at like sparkle dogs, but that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, here we are. This would be like the third paragraph from the bottom of the first post.
Okay. 1, 2.
Also,
currently,
he is one of the Tumblerinas that claims to have multiple personalities, headmates. Okay, that's not not gonna talk about that. Keeps a plethora of pets, rats, cats, and dogs that constantly die and are in need of attention.
Doesn't that kind of sound like something Fallen Wish would do? I'm just kind of saying.
That reminds me of somebody else that I won't be mentioning here. But okay, there's some green text here. I'm going to click on them to see constantly die. Oh. Okay, so there's a rat update that links to YouTube. Maybe there is a little bit of an example. And are in need of medical attention. Okay. $400 vet bill. Please help Zayden. I thought you mentioned a Zayden. Their cat's name Zayden?
Yeah.
We took Zayden to the vet.
No. I mentioned Zerum.
Okay. So it's Zidane.
Yeah.
You know what? It is good you're here because I am not versed in the what's our guy's name? Yeah, Jitterbug Jive. I am not well versed in the Jitterbug Jive lore.
See, I've followed Jitter since I was like 14, since they were very new to the fandom, so I know a lot of stuff.
So Buttons' knowledge on Jitterbug Jive's verse is somewhere between S and B class. Very strong. They are strong within the verse. I am quite lost, so that is why they're coming along. He's on an insurance plan on his visit and basic needs were covered. But he had a bad tooth that's put him in a lot of pain, and they need to remove it. The problem is, it isn't covered and will cost $400 to do so. Okay, I'm a little confused here.
There's no way a tooth pull would cost $400.
Well, yeah, I thought the same thing too, because
I know someone who's a vet on Twitter. I could ask.
Yes. Oh, you are killing it today, boys. But yeah, for humans, from what I understand, even of the most basic of insurances, tooth pulls are free. That is, of course, humans. Veterinarians could be completely different. 400, oof. So yeah, if you don't have a lot of money, maybe don't get a pet. So I've got two options: try to get the money now to help him, or make him suffer until May while saving up money over time. Obviously, the first option is more ideal. I don't want my kitten to be in pain. And he's been doing this, like chewing on plastic bags to relieve the pain a bit. Obviously, that's bad for him because he might swallow a bunch of plastic. I don't know, can you get him a squeaky toy? Anyways, right now, I just paid rent and food, which put me down at the bottom of my bank account. I only have $50 right now, which is less than I had a long time ago. I really go under 100. Oh, my heart goes out to starving artists. Maybe that's why. If anybody asks this, Anthony Aguilar doesn't like beating up on artists. I really, really do not. It does not. Yeah.
No, I've noticed that actually. Even if it's the only time you really don't have a problem is if they're scamming their customer.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, that didn't seem listed in the. Let me look back at the Kiwi Farms thread.
No, I will say Jitters has been pretty good about being. Yeah. I could be wrong, you know.
Let's on the whole 2 pages of Jitterbug Jives' Kiwi Farms thread. I don't remember seeing that allegation, but we'll skim through just in case because Anthony Aguilar can't read for shit. Let's see. To donate, go to Lovestruck Derpy's page, and you'll find a donation button. And there's the whole thing. Or if you're on a phone, because I know Tumblr app is shitty and won't have the actual page. You know what? Yeah, 1 second. I will switch the property to, if you fucking work
I wonder if Love Struck Derpy's even still going. It's been a while.
I thought it was dead when last time I looked.
Yeah, I was gonna say Love Struck Derpy, Discorded Hooves, the Vailyard. There was a couple accounts I've seen that have kind of like not post anymore.
Okay. Okay. Or if you're on your phone, because because I know the Tumblr app is shitty and it won't show the actual page, people can go also donate on my Ko-Fi. That's the buy the artist a cup of coffee thingamajig.
Yeah, coffee.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that a couple times. Thank you for your time. If you won't donate, don't worry. It could just reblog to spread the word, and you also means a lot to me. So here's my whole thing. If you like an artist or a YouTube content creator and you don't have money to donate, if they have a YouTube channel, the best way to do it is just go to their upload section, hit play, like make sure that you're on like a playlist. Here, because I'm a self-serving asshole, I'll show you on mine. Yes, you don't have to. Yeah, you totally don't have to. But you could always just go to like see this upload button, or it says play all. You would click on play all, and if you don't want to listen to it, like so, you would hit this. You would hit this handy dandy little fucking mute button, and then you would minimize the screen. You would you wouldn't have to pay attention to it. But yeah.
Oh, got it. Dr. Izzy, got it. All right, let me find.
Okay.
There she is.
That is Buttons referring to the dentist that they were talking to.
They're actually a veterinary.
Oh,
I think they're like a vet tech.
Ventist. Sometimes I get those mixed up. It's still early in the morning.
Okay. Dear Miss Tough.
Okay. I'm going to stop screen sharing or switch this back to Skype.
Does it cost $400 to pull a tooth from a cat? Let me look on Google too, because I'm sure it'll say like how much does it cost for a cat's tooth to be pulled. There's no fucking way. It can actually cost $300 to $1,300.
Okay, that's what you're reading.
No, wait, hang on. This may include advanced monitoring during the surgery. This is only performed by a veterinarian. The base cost is $200 for the cleaning and initial anesthesia, and $40 to $150 for IV fluids, additional monitoring, and about $75 to $150 per tooth extracted. That's a fuck ton of money.
Now you know